Welcome to the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win. I'm your hostess, Wynn Godbold, and we hope that in watching these interviews, you will be inspired to take action on making your impact in the world. Remember, nothing is impossible. The very word says, I'm possible. Enjoy the show. Welcome to another edition of the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win. Today, I am super excited to have with me Brenda Tringali. She is the founder and owner of At Your Fingertips Organizing. And we are not on the porch today because for me, it's a little chilly. Now, Brenda said 48 degrees, we can go outside. And I said, no, we can't. That's way too cold for this Southern girl. So we're in the building today. But I'm happy to introduce you to Brenda. And I want Brenda, if you would, just first off, share with folks what it is that you do, and not just what you do, but why you do it. Because here's the thing. When people watch the Wynn Show, okay, they want to get to know you, and our whole purpose is that our viewers watch and then they say, oh my gosh, if Brenda can listen to her passion and make this kind of difference for people, then I should really pay attention to my own and make it, like live into my difference making, okay? And what I know about you, because you have worked with me, okay, Brenda straightened up my life, is that this is not just organizing, that you have a passion for this. And so what I want you to do is tell folks what you do and why do you do it. And then I'll fill in with like all the amazing stuff that you probably won't tell people about yourself.
No pressure, though. Okay.
Yeah, no pressure.
Okay. All right. So I am a professional organizer. So when people hear that, they think of the TV show Hoarders or whatever. But really, and it's true. But really, what I do is different from that. So I help people transform, let's say, chaos to clarity. Or overwhelm to order. Excuse me.
I love that.
So I help them solve problems that, keep them, prevent them from achieving their goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's sit with that just for a second, okay? Because that's big.
That's a lot.
And I don't want people to miss this. It's not just... It's not the vision we have of hoarders, right?
No.
Although
it could be. I have worked with hoarders. I have.
I was going to say, I think I might have pushed some of your edge there as we were unfolding things from 10 years ago in my life, right? No. But that was part of the beauty of it. In chaos to clarity, overwhelm to order. Okay, and that frees us up to do what I love, right? Which is to step in your possibilities of what your life can be and achieve your goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, she's not just an organizer, y'all. This is why we have her here. So tell us, how did you, or tell us why? Why is that so important to you?
Because the chaos, the clutter overwhelms us. And I think you touched on this a little bit. It prevents us from moving forward. We're stuck. We can't achieve our full potential. We can't achieve the things that we want to do. Can I give you one example?
Yeah, we want it, yeah.
And if I tear up, I apologize. But honestly, this really touches my heart. I had a client who hired me to help her clear the clutter in her home. I don't just do homes, I do businesses as well, but to clear the clutter in her home because there was so much clutter, she wasn't allowed to have her grandchildren over. So her daughter wouldn't come visit, and she wouldn't. The daughter would not allow her children to come. So, oh my God, this woman was devastated that she couldn't have her family to her home. So that's why I do it. That's an extreme example, but it's to help people, again, achieve their goals. She was dying to entertain her family in her home, and she couldn't. Wow. That's just one example. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's always a why. Why do you want to clear the clutter? Why? Again, whether it's at home or at work or life in general.
Yeah, that's big though.
It is. It's huge.
And so take us to the end.
Yeah.
You got her straightened up, right? Got her cleared up, cleaned up, organized.
Yeah.
And then
and
then they came.
They came. Yeah.
That's a life changer.
It's a life changer. Oh my God.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to be careful that people don't misinterpret, ask me how I know, is the wonderful thing about what you do, Brenda, is, throughout the time together,
Yeah.
and then again you reiterate at the end,
Yeah.
say, of a session, if
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah,
okay,
session.
of our time
Perfect.
together,
Yeah.
is that you're big on the process and the
Right.
system so that we can sustain the organization.
Absolute. Right.
But what I loved when we worked together
Yeah.
was that you said, if it starts falling off,
Yeah.
right, here's some tips,
Right.
but it's okay. We just come back and we get
Right.
it back together.
Absolutely.
And so when I think about someone who had to make such a life
Yeah,
change,
yeah.
right, from I'm not bringing my kids into this business,
Yeah.
into this mess you
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
okay, even though they're your grands,
Right.
to wow, now we're here visiting. What were there times in there where she like needed that? Hey, Brenda,
Yeah.
things are getting a little bit like
Absolutely.
because that's got to be a lifetime change. It was a pattern
right.
of a lifetime. You just don't wake up one day and
right.
have it. It's forever,
Right.
right?
It's a
Talk
lifetime.
to us a little bit about that, like how you really help people making those life, changing the habits
Right.
of a lifetime.
Absolutely. It's bad habits that you just become so accustomed to, it's second nature. So as I work side by side with the client, not only, so I'm transferring my knowledge to them.
Okay.
We talk through it, not only what we're about to do, why we're doing it. And let's talk about the habits of why you just put that piece of paper there, why you don't put it away, why you don't wash your dishes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we examine why and what minor changes you can make to your life to change that. And so it's really teaching throughout the entire process. If the person is willing to listen and to learn, and some don't want to learn, they would just prefer to pick up the phone and call me back and say, would you come back and tweak it again? Sure, I will. They just, it's not in their bandwidth, they just don't have the desire, the time, whatever it is. So it's very personal for different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love teaching people how to become more efficient and productive, how to save time and save money. And those bigger goals, having your grands visit or whatever it is.
Well, I think that one just really hits
Yeah.
because everybody has family, right?
Right.
Whether you're the grandchild or you're
Right.
the child with the children, and we all understand that dynamic of
Yeah.
this is what's in the way of a relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it may not be that relationship. I
Right.
mean, it could very much be a new husband and wife, right?
Right.
We have to learn to live together. We have to
Yeah.
learn where do you put your stuff and what am I willing to tolerate
Yeah.
and not and why and
Yeah.
all that's big.
Yeah.
I know one of the things from working with you is that as you asked me questions about, well, why do you do it this way? What makes sense to you? What's your easiest? What's your most
Yeah.
important? All those things.
Yeah.
That you really honed in and you listened to me,
Yeah.
which I was surprised by.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Because I thought we're just going to organize it. Just,
Right.
my D driver was going in there. Just put the papers in the right order. And you were like, well, why would you, what is it that makes it belong here? And I was like, So your skills in the listening realm and how you really can pull that out. Now, is that formal training? Is that Brenda? Is it all combination? Like, how did you get this? To me, that's part of your secret sauce.
But we're also taught that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're taught that as part of the training of becoming a professional organizer. But also that was ingrained in me, I think, as a child. That's how I was raised. I don't know if we'll talk about this later, but my first career, I was a social worker. So I was dealing with children who were abused and neglected. And so I had to go in and interview families and listen. So that's been ingrained in me throughout my entire professional career.
Yeah. So that's why you're really tuned in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, and then the other thing is, what people I think don't know is there's no right way to get organized. There's no right answer. It varies from person to person to person because we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, our preferences, our the way we learn. So you really have to listen to the person and how they process information and understand that so that you can make recommendations that will work for them, not short term but long term.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's big. It goes beyond just, can you straighten out my cupboard?
Right.
Yeah, we can, but we're going to do it in a way that works for you
Right.
because you personalize it.
That's right. I have some clients that want to hire me to go in and straighten their cupboards.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
But without working side by side with that person, I'm going to organize it the way it makes sense to me. Doesn't mean it will make sense to them. So to me, that is not the ideal situation, and that is not my ideal client.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Get
I'll
real
do it.
clear on that.
Yeah, I'll do it, but it's not, not ideal.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're really about supporting people in their growth and ability to do it so they can get on with the goals.
Absolutely.
Be the bigger person and show up in the world in the way they're supposed to. Yeah. So was there somebody in your life early on that really inspired this in you? Or how do you said you were a social worker. How do you come to this place, Brenda? Give us your journey.
Okay, so my journey. So I was a social worker for the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I did that for a few years. I was working on my master's and my thesis, Job Stress and Burnout Among Human Service Professionals. And I realized I had all the symptoms of being burnt out. So I said,
whoa.
All right. So I made a transition shortly after that, and I transitioned into human resources, where I spent the next 30 years. And I say that number, I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? But anyway.
By in a blink of an eye.
30 years, the first 15 of which I was a hands-on HR professional. So I did benefits, compensation, staffing, all that stuff. But then the last 15 years, I worked for one organization, one company, and all I did was place people in jobs. So it was an agency.
Okay.
And I loved it. It was great because I felt like I was helping people find their passion, their ideal job. And it was very rewarding. But you know what? If something inside of me said, you know what, something's missing. You're having fun, making great money, but I wasn't thrilled. Something was missing from my life. And I don't know how I became aware of professional organization. I don't remember like when it clicked for me, but I somehow knew about it. And that was something that I knew deep in my heart I wanted to try at some point. Yeah.
Okay.
And so fast forward 30 years, I was finally in a situation where I was ready to make a major change in my life. So similar to people who downsize their possessions, whatever. I mean, we downsized our lives because I was making the big bucks, but you know what? I was working 50, 60, 70 hours a week for someone else, and I wanted to make a bigger impact. So we literally downsized and got rid of that big monster, that mortgage payment that was hanging over our head that forced me to stay in that career. We downsized, I got rid of that, and all of a sudden the world opened up. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have that big mortgage anymore. I can finally start that business that I knew was in my heart and that I wanted to try.
Okay, I love this piece, right? Because the whole of Wynn and what I do is the I'm Possible lifestyle. And this is you recognizing and seeing if we decrease this, I can increase this. My service, my love, my passion, my possibilities are all opening up.
That's right.
And wow. Okay. So just as a side note, because sometimes we do this, right? Recently, I have been thinking and studying. Had some things come into my awareness around the law of sacrifice.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And the law of sacrifice says we let go of things of a lesser nature in order to fill that space with things of a greater nature. And it doesn't mean trading time, right?
Okay,
instead of watching TV, I'm going to read a book.
Right.
That's trade. Okay, that's not sacrifice.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who are watching, to hear you say, well, we let go of what could be seen as the symbol of success, right?
Right.
High salary, big home, whatever's, right? That what looked so amazing and great, when you let go of that, it was letting go of something of a lesser nature, because the truth was, now I'm stepping into what I really want, which is to serve in this way to make a difference. Not that you weren't making a difference.
No, and I was.
But it was that little internal thing, which is why people watch, because they're like, what was inside Brenda that made her do this? Do I have one of those? So that, I just think that was important, that for a minute we just sit and say, wow, to that, letting go. And really that gave you the space to expand into this, which obviously you are so passionate about
I love
doing
it.
this.
I do. And there's a saying, and I don't know how it goes exactly, but something about if there's something that you can't stop thinking about every day, then you have to do it. And that's what I felt inside every day. I knew I wanted this. And and it's true. If you think about it every day, you got to go for it.
Gold nugget right there. Yeah. Take that one. If you're thinking about it every day, you got to just go for it. You just have to make it happen.
Don't ignore it. It's that important.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did we come up with at your fingertips? Like, how did this actually, so we've sold our house, we're downsizing, and tell us, this is more, I stopped your journey for that teaching moment, but talk to me.
So, Wynn, as you may or may not know, so I'm very sentimental. So again, I'll try not to tear up.
Yeah.
But so again, I knew that I wanted to do this years before I actually did it. It was inside of me, and I even, I talked to my mom about it, and I said, Mom, someday, and this is before she got sick with Alzheimer's. Someday I'm going to start this professional organizing business, and I need you to help me come up with a name. I said, and I only have one criteria. I said, I want it to begin with the letter A, so that if I appear in a directory, telephone directory, whatever, with other organizers, I want to be close to the top of that listing.
Wow.
And
she thought through this whole thing, or what?
Well, I had a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, within seconds, she looked at me and she said, at your fingertips. And it was an aha moment. And I'm like, oh my God, that is perfect. Because when you're organized, everything you need is at your fingertips, right? Yeah. So that's how I came up with the name. God bless her. Yeah, it was easy. I knew instantaneously that was it.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
So you guys are, you've got a name, you downsized, you said you had worked in social work in Massachusetts. You came here, or did you stay there and start it and then bring the business with you? How did that work?
So I stayed there and started it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were there a couple of years, I guess, when I started the business, 2 or 3 years, and it was great. And it was, I'll say, easier to start it there because I knew people, right? So started it there, and it was easy. I had friends and relatives that could give me referrals, and it was wonderful. And it was wonderful. And we were there until 2017, and then we moved here.
Okay. Yeah. And so now here you are, miles from home.
Yeah.
Don't know anybody and in a new community. Yeah. How do you get your business off the ground?
Okay. And
what do you do?
This was one of my biggest challenges because I had to start from scratch, right? Start from scratch.
Sure.
And so a couple of things. So we moved here and we were very excited. But what happened, the first week we moved here, I get a phone call. We had just finished unpacking the pod of all our furniture. When I tell you, we just moved all the furniture in, we just sat down in beach chairs in our living room. I'm sorry, our couch hadn't arrived yet. Beach chairs in the living room. My husband and I just sat down at the end of a long day.
taking that deep breath, sigh.
Like, oh my God, we're here. And I get a phone call telling me that my brother has just passed away. And when I tell you, it was one of those moments where, oh my God, I just wanted to curl up into a ball and just, that's it, retreat. Yeah. So I took some time, and you talk about, impossible, I'm possible, and I took some time to really reflect and think about it, and then I was ready to move forward after I really thought about it for a while and was ready to put my heart and soul, my time and energy into starting the business here. But I'll be honest with you, it took a little bit. It took a little bit. That was huge. He's my only sibling.
Okay.
So, but then I did. When I was ready, after a few months, I just jumped right in.
Sounds to me like that could have been this is not happening, this is impossible moment. And when we do, and you know it, right? You've talked about it already here. Yeah. What were there any other times where you've just have thought, this is impossible, what am I doing? And yet here you are thriving.
Honestly, I would have to say that was it.
That was the one.
That was it. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Is there anything that you can share with our viewers about that moment or that period of time that was just really the thing that, and maybe it was just knowing that Joe would want that for you.
Yeah.
Was that enough, or was there ever a moment or a time where you just said, I'm just, it's time and I'm doing this and here's why?
I think I always had that inner need, that inner passion to help other people. So I think it was a combination of things, but also knowing that Joe would want me to do it, that that there were so many people that really had a need for this, and I could help them. And it was, I think my bigger passion, I don't know, just that need to help people. That's my theme throughout my career, is helping people. I love to help people.
How about when you were a child? Were you a helpful child? I mean, was that a big deal for you?
It was, yeah. I think my parents probably reinforced that. You know, every time I help someone, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because we were getting ready to do Purpose Vision Goals at the end of the month.
Yeah,
and
great. It's great.
And part of that is we look to find our passion as we go, well, as a kid, what'd you do as a kid? What really lit you up? So I bet you were like a helpful child.
And you know, it's funny because, and I attended your workshop last year, I think it was. And I had an aha moment during that, thanks to you. And one of them was, I distinctly remember as a child, so my mother's mother was in a nursing home. She had had a stroke. Things were different then. You can really take care of them at home. Okay. And I remember she would take me to see my grandmother constantly in the nursing home. And I developed such, I feel like I'm always saying the word passion. I love elderly people. And I would go in and I would talk to them, and I vividly remember a woman sitting there. She couldn't communicate. She was holding a doll, and I would sit there for hours and talk to her. So, but I think that came out of it. I mean, that was ingrained in me, going to the nursing home, and it just lit me up. I just really enjoyed spending time with seniors. Yeah, some of them didn't have any company. Yeah.
You were impacting lives early on.
I just loved it.
Right.
I know I was.
Right. Stepping into what you love, but it's a big deal. Yeah. I think that's why you were so patient. Because seniors move sometimes a bit slower. They talk slower. They process slower. Right. And when you worked with me, you were very patient because. I required a lot of patience. I'm just gonna say, we got a lot done, but it was a process. No. It really was.
Yeah, and no, I'm like that with everyone. Yeah, so I think I learned that as a child.
Yeah. Gifts come into life. That's great. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like January. This got to be the month of all months for you, because this is Get Organized month in January. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, did you know that?
Tell us about Get Organized month and how you're. I would say celebrating it, because you got some special stuff going on.
Yeah. So I have to put in a plug. So I am a member of NAPO, and NAPO is the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals.
Oh, dear God.
Yes, NAPO, N-A-P-O. Anyway, so in honor of Go Month, I'm actually running a contest for local nonprofits, so for Myrtle Beach area nonprofits, where I will donate some of my time to help the winner with a project that will help them become more productive, more efficient. So what does that mean? So let me tell you a little bit about 2019's winner.
Yeah,
okay,
do.
Great.
We love examples. Paint us a picture.
And I think it helps people visualize. So last year's winner was Champion Autism Network, CAN, and they had an extra room in their office space where they had supplies, promotional materials, whatever, and it was not being used as to its fullest potential.
Even the room is not being used to its fullest potential. I love it.
And so they were the winner. So with the help of one of their interns, I went in, and together she and I transformed that room. So there was a desk and computer in there that really wasn't functional just because of the layout. That there was a lot of stuff. Yeah. So not only did we take care of that, we repositioned it so that it was more functional, but oh my God, all of their supplies, their inventory, promotional materials, we literally pulled everything out and reorganized it, put it back in a very logical fashion. I had my high-speed label maker, a large label maker. We went in, we labeled everything, and it was very exciting. So I want to do the same for 2020. So I am asking nonprofits to nominate themselves for this contest, and that's what CAN did last year at Champion Autism Network. So all you need to do is go to my website, which is atyourfingertipsorganizing.com, and the page called Giving Back. And it talks a little bit about the contest.
Okay.
And there's a self-nomination form on there. And really, all it takes is 5 minutes. Just explain the project or projects that you have in mind, and hit that submit button.
It's that easy?
It's that easy. But so the only stipulation is it needs to be an employee of the nonprofit, because they will have had to have discussed it with the nonprofit's leader. Right,
that makes perfect
buy-in.
sense. Sure, yeah,
right.
Okay.
So yeah, the nonprofit just nominates themselves, and they nonprofits have until January 31st, so the end of the month, to nominate themselves, and then shortly after that in February, I will select a winner, and I'll coordinate with the nonprofit to do the work.
And so how is the winner selected? Is it
So
drawn out of a hat, or the project criteria?
Yeah, so it's really a number of different factors. It's the project, it's the impact that can be made. It's a number of different factors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it really depends. And honestly, what I would probably do is narrow it down to a few, and then have a conversation with the leader of the nonprofit just to dig a little deeper about the project, and that will help. That'll help me decide, which is the best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this truly speaks to your integrity and your process and your deep desire for impact in people's lives. That it needs to come from within the organization. So we know there's buy-in, having that conversation with them to really select a project that we know is going to go beyond, and that like the functionality of the Room for Champion Autism Network, they do so many events for their families. That if they're in there struggling to get materials to make the movie happen, to make the bowling happen, to make all of these events for the families happen, then that slows everything down and their impact is less.
That's right.
So you really want this thing to touch lives. Because the faster they can get out, the more organized they are, the better that event becomes, and the more they can do.
And again, they're saving time and money. So they're saving time by knowing exactly where everything is, going back and able to retrieve it because it's at their fingertips.
Yeah, at their fingertips.
And they're saving money because time is money.
Yeah, so, and then any business wants to work efficiently, right? So organization is for every business, but in a nonprofit where every penny, is you're coming by it and you're going for it, and it just comes through those channels. Yeah. Every penny is so precious.
It is,
Not that they aren't in every business, but a nonprofit really has to be careful and manage well and be a good steward. So
and so the only
great give back from
thank you. And so the only other thing that I'd like to add is that it doesn't. So I help businesses, I help people again transform chaos to clarity. It doesn't just have to be space. It can be possessions, stuff, inventory, whatever. It can be paperwork. Paperwork is huge for people. We're inundated with paperwork at home, at work. We don't know what to do with it. It can be helping them write processes or procedures. So to document that, so that every member of the nonprofit, every volunteer that comes in, know what the job is.
And that's really when you have a cadre of volunteers who come in. Maybe I'm the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Somebody else is Tuesday, Thursday. We both have a playbook, and we know this is how it works. So when the outside has touched, communication with us, they get the same message Monday as they do on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
And it's not volunteer dependent, so to speak. You really have a process. That's huge. What a gift.
So anyway, that's the promotion for January. For
that's
Get
fantastic.
Organized Month. Thank you.
I love it. And you call that Go Month, and I was like, oh, get organized, go. I get it. January is a big month.
NAPO came up with the name.
Okay.
I have to give credit where credit is
due. That's fine. So let's do this. As a way of wrapping up here, we're definitely, we'll put your website across the screen. We want people to get in touch with you. But two questions. This will be it. first question is, you said for the contest, is it Grand Strand wide? So Little River to Merle's Inlet?
Yes.
Or is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you cross the waterway into Conway?
Yes, I go to Conway. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any of our nonprofits who are centered in those areas?
Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And if you are somewhere else in the world and you're thinking, oh, I'm a professional organizer, or I have this bend or whatever, take this great idea and make it happen in your state or community as well, right?
Absolutely.
You don't have a lock on it. You want this to spread.
Right. And NAPO, the national organization, really encourages us as professional organizers to do this in our community. And I just so happen, so I volunteer for NAPO, and I happen to be the chair of their social responsibility committee. And it's called NAPO Cares.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plug.
Well, and,
definitely, because we want, this is our whole purpose.
Right.
Worldwide, be in your community, make your difference where you are. So if you're a NAPO member and you haven't thought about doing this, now you know.
Yeah.
And once you know, you do.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou, right? Once we know better, we do better.
That's right.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a last sort of plug, what would you say to our viewers who might be sitting there thinking, I'm thinking about something every day. I have this thought like Brenda did, maybe not about organizing, but about something.
Yep.
What would you just give them your best word of encouragement?
Okay. So what I always tell people is, think about that rocking chair test, okay? So say you're 100 years old, fast forward many, many years, and you're sitting in that rocking chair and you're on your porch and you're rocking back and forth. Think about what regrets would you have for things that you never did, that you wanted to do, those burning desires that you just for whatever reason didn't move or take progress with. That's what you need to do. So what I did was, when I moved here and was starting the business from scratch, what did I do? I jumped in. I met with people that could help me. The CCU, the Small Business Development people, I met with SCORE, another great organization. I networked. I became affiliated with like-minded people. So just, you have to be fearless. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear stand in the way. Don't let it be an excuse. Don't be the victim. Just jump right in and move forward. That's what you need to do. Well,
that's how we do it.
You have to. Life is too short.
Yes,
right?
And you know that.
I know that.
You know that personally. Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah. Okay, folks. So you've heard it from Brenda, entrepreneur, businesswoman, right? Difference maker in the community and in people's lives. And you thought we were only talking about organizing today. I bet you didn't see this one coming. So want to encourage you to check out Brenda at her website, which is atyourfingertips.com.
Nope. Atyourfingertipsorganizing.com.
Thank you. Atyourfingertipsorganizing.com. Check Brenda out and engage with her. You also go on Facebook and do Facebook Lives where you give tips. So if you need some organizing tips on your Facebook page is what? Where do you do those from?
I'm sorry, At Your Fingertips Organizing.
Okay.
And so I do videos. I have quotes, motivation, before and after pictures. But I'm always trying to share knowledge with people. I'm trying to educate people about how to be more organized. So if you want some tips, please follow me on Facebook.
Yeah. So no matter where you are in the world, that's right. You can get things organized. To the point where they're at your fingertips.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We hope so much that Brenda's words to you will stick, that you'll think about being 100 years old in your rocking chair. What would you regret not doing? Be fearless, as she says, and just step forward to make it happen. Let us know in the comments how this episode of the Wynn Show and this time spent with Brenda touched your life. We'd love to hear your feedback, and we will see you next week for another edition. Y'all take care. Thank you for watching this episode of the Wynn Show. This is Wynn, and I'm inviting you to discover what's possible in your life by joining me in the I'm Possible Discovery program. You can find all the details at bsharp.us/join.